Without further ado, let's get it. Yes. Yes, 2 times. Yeah, I know the vibes. She like, they dope. She like, they dope. On a Friday, best day, blessed day. Looking for M's like I lost a friend. Hop up out the bed like, where's the bread? What it do, people? You're now tuned in. Popovich TV. We live, we rolling, we unscripted, we authentic, that feeling. Back up in here one more again. So if it's your first time, then the question is, where you been? Because over here on my side, we like to deal with sports, hip hop, entertainment, interviews sometimes when the people don't be acting flaky. Popovisms 101, and of course, motivation. So before you jump off the page and usher to the left, Diddy to the right, I'm gonna need you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell. So when I upload the videos, you get alerted. You get alerted when I upload the videos, and if it's not your first time and you've been rocking with the channel, good looking. But you know how I do. You know how I plainly start my show. Tony, there was no other way. We in the end game now. And we is in the end game, people. We in the end game because it's Friday. Just got paid. You know what I mean? Like that feeling. we blessed. We appreciative. We grateful. You know what I mean? Another day on the books, another day above ground is always something to be excited about. Give the speech with vigor and pass the wine cooler, you big black man. Like you jingling, baby? Go ahead, baby. On Friday, you should have that feel every day, really, but Friday, most people do get paid. They off on the weekends. I get it. Some people do got to work on the weekends. I got to work tomorrow, and I just got off 12 o'clock. Well, really, I got off like 12:15ish, but rush home, get ready to do the show. Hopefully, we got a great show for you today. But every day should be a day of being appreciative, being grateful, having that feeling. Although I get it, one day you up, next day you down. Long as you stay the same, it'll come back. Like, I get it. Some days ain't always that feeling days or a lovely day. You know what I mean? A lovely day type of feeling. But as long as you're alive, your problems they ain't going nowhere. One, if you don't fix them, and obviously if you don't fix them, they definitely not going nowhere. And then even when you do fix your problems, there's new problems, right? That's the great part about living. You get to continue on, and other people stop living. Which brings us to we in the end game because Cal Bush, right? NASCAR, fast car, you know what I mean? Has died at 41. A lot of that, I'm sure a lot of y'all been seeing that on the ticket, especially if you've been anywhere on ESPN today, right? And I think he passed either last night or early, this morning. Um, you know, rest in peace to him. Condolences to the family. I won't act like I'm a NASCAR fast car type of fan or I was a Kyle Busch fan. I'm not. Um, but I do recognize greatness, and I do know for the last 15 years or so, watching ESPN and watching the sports that I like to indulge in, right? And we'll talk about playoffs in a minute. I know I've been seeing his name pop up a lot. Him, Dale Earnhardt, and the son, Earnhardt, Dale Hart Jr. So I was saying the name wrong. Johnson. Just some of those names that's always, in the upper echelons of that sport, which is, the NASCAR and, the Indy 500, Daytona, and all that type of shit. Like he's one of them guys, fearless competitor, you know, real, serious type of dude, according to all the, the spills that was given out today about him. So, we just want to acknowledge that a lot of people in the entertainment world, etc., has been passing away or getting shot, stuff like that. You seen forget the brother name that's in the NFL, or he was going to the NFL and got shot up and shit. Um, but in the hip hop world, right, we also in the yin game because Rob Bass died, right? Either early this morning or last night. 58 years old. And Kyle Busch is young. And we talk about this a lot on the channel when we're speaking about death, as far as people like they died too soon, or and life is fast. You know what I mean? Like that little dash in between your birth date and your death date. You know what I'm saying? But 58 is young, and 41 is young to me. And I know when I go, I want a quick death and an easy one. But according to sources, and that'd be Google and just, the internet shit that when you're pulling up and looking up these stories to get information about them so that I can speak about them, right? And make sure I'm speaking about them accurately or with some form of accuracy. We ain't just willy nilly it, coming up here saying anything, you know what I'm saying? For the sake of doing that. But 58, and secretly, according to what I was reading, he lost his battle with cancer. So I say, dang, cancer's it's always around. It's probably always going to be around. And it was unfortunate. I don't know what type of cancer he had per se, because the article that I read, it didn't get into that. It just said exactly what I said, that he lost his battle, with cancer secretly. His friends and family, obviously announced the news. But show will be heavy theme, hip hop, sports, entertainment, hip hop, you know what I mean? Papa Visuals 101, and of course, motivation, right? Let's keep that in mind. I don't think I'm gonna be here long. I didn't really get a chance to do a lot of studying, but I do have, a thought process on what we will be talking about. So just keep that in mind. But icon, legendary, maybe for some not, right? Um, for me, I remember, Rob Bass, obviously, it takes two, what I mean? It takes two to make a thing go right. Like, it takes two to make it out of sight, right? And the video and shit, obviously, Rob Bass, Harlem Zone, right? And the other song that I like, that I remember, right, is Mr. M's New York City. What's the word? It's joy, pump it up, and rain. Come on, and like sunshine and rain. And both of those two songs that he had hit records. Make no mistake about that. Impactful records. And if you will, I look at it like a Will Tracks, fuck that, I can't even think of his name. Fat Man Scoop, Crooklyn Clan, Fat Man Scoop, Crooklyn Clan, like, Fat Man Scoop. I look at them, even though, some people may say on a total different spectrum, but I don't see. So, one, if you know Will Tracks, obviously he sings Shine a Light on Them, you know what I mean? And the other one, Let Me See Some Footwork, right? And then obviously, Fat Man Scoop, you got a $20 bill, get your hands up. You got a $20 bill, get your hands up. And making joints like that, you know what I mean? With Faith Evans, I never knew, like, all those joints, right? To the beans, and even though that's Ron G, but those type of songs, right? Rob Bass was competing with. Let me see, damn. Let me see when Rob Bass came out with that song. I may have to jump online a few times because this is all in '88. So let's do this. That song came out in '88. So let's open up another tab, and I do promise in the near future, Because maybe that's why niggas don't be fucking with the channel. I got other reasons why I think, you know what I mean? I may say them tonight or not. I know my show, we unscripted and we authentic over here, right? So there's no holds bars for me. Fuck everybody else. Just keep them in the buck. And I got to talk about my life and how I see it. Right? Tell them why you mad. You know what I'm saying? These niggas is driving around in $4 million cars and making $5 million videos, and I'm working on my fourth album. I'm still living with my moms, right? And this goes out to you and you and you. Hit hip hop songs in 1988. Sure. Some bangers. It's just off the top right here. All right, so just so y'all know what Rob Bass was dealing with, right? 88. So I said this will be heavy theme, hip hop. Now, y'all know my age on the channel. I'm almost 50 now. Still looking good, still trying to maintain and stay out the washing machine, right? Some of the niggas is washed up and they ain't even close to the age. So you got, Generation X. We'll leave it at that. We take pride in that, right? But I'm from the era, right? And 88 is 88, 90, 91, 92. All this is the golden era of hip hop. So this is what Rob Bass was contending with, right? Straight out of Compton. Crazy motherfucking name, Ice Cube. From the game called Niggas with Attitudes. When it hauled off, I got a sawed off. Squeeze the trigger and bodies all hauled off. NWA, right? Dealing with that. Might say, what's the word? He's dealing with Rob Bass came out. It takes two, so he's on the top. They just named a couple of them. Microphone Fiend, Rakim. You know what I mean? I take 7 MCs, put them in the line. Add 7 more brothers who think they can rhyme. Then it takes 7 more before I go for mine, and that's 21 MCs ain't up at the same time. Easy does it, do it easy. That's what I'm doing, and that's not even Microphone Fiend. That was Check My Melody. Microphone is, what I mean, I kick a hole in the speaker, pull a plug, then I jet back to the lab without a mic to grab, but then I add all the rhymes I had, one after the other one, then I make another one. You know what I mean? Dealing with heavy hitters. Children's story, Slick Rick. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what is this big time story? Please, please, please. Here we go. Like, once upon a time, not long ago, when people wore pajamas and lived like slow, with justice stern and laws were stood, and people are behaving like they all too good, there was a little boy who was misled by another little boy. This is what he said. Me and you, we're gonna make some cash, robbing old folks and making a dash. They did the job. Money came with ease, but one couldn't stop. It's like he had a disease. He robbed another, and the sister and the brother tried to rob a man who was a DT undercover. Like, this is what he was competing with. You gotta chill. EPMD, one of my favorite groups of all time. Ain't no half stepping. Big Daddy Kane. We'll get back to him in a minute. So these is all of the people that Rob Bass was competing with in 1988. 81 quiz. Give me a song quick. 1988. This is what he was competing with, right? And I mentioned the Fat Man Scoops and the Will Tracks. Probably mentioned somebody else, but wasn't really known to be lyrical, right? But more so of the party theme, let's have fun type of songs. So where you got children's stories, definitely all the way hip hop. I think I left something off the list too. Oh yeah, don't believe the hype. Public Enemy. Don't believe the hype. Like, you know what I mean? This is the era that he came up in, the golden era, where niggas wasn't sounding alike. Every single song, and this is just what Google pulled up. I could go on because I was a young kid and this era, just like Max B, and we'll get back to that. So, Big Daddy Kane, lyricist. Rakim, lyricist. Also on that list is My Philosophy. Like, all my brothers eat chicken and watermelon, talk Brooklyn English and drug selling, right? KRS One, The Teacher, lyrical. EPMD, a group. Public Enemy, a group. Straight Out of Compton, NWA, a group. And, Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock. But basically, those two songs is my favorite songs of his. Obviously, he came out with albums and, he had, let's go to that too. We ain't going to really rush. We're going to give everybody they just do, right? And those are the first two songs, really. It Takes Two, Joy and Pain, Get the Dance Floor. Let me see. Let me go to albums. Yeah, 88, 89. That was just a single. None of these joints that hit like It Takes Two or Joy and Pain. You know what I mean? Getting on the dance floor, Crush. Times Are Getting, Ill. I remember that. And basically, even though he came out and that's it, turn it out. Never like no real hits after that, right? But he got them. And some people don't even have hits. But he was competing in the era where niggas was nice. Still came out and every black party you went to, every party that you went to, right after Microphone Fiend or Ain't No Half Stepping, you know what I mean? His song was right there. And his song probably in some cases was even more, you know, flyer or better than their song because it was, you know what I mean? Like, I like the WAP, but fuck the Big Mac. If you want static, well, let's go. No, throw up your hands, go for what you know. I like, you know what I mean? Like, I dance, the guys, the girls, like, had that Harlem swag without being lyrical. You know what I'm saying? Um, but rest in peace to him. You know what I mean? As I said, you got some niggas that some rappers rather they ain't got no hits. And he'll come out and do his two songs and even have people of this era dancing to those songs and you won't even move the crowd. That's why KRS One said MCs only battle with punchlines. Let's see who can battle headlines. Instead of flow for flow, let's go show for show. You better act like you know. Like, you know what I mean? Too many MCs take that word MC lightly. They couldn't even move a crowd, not even slightly. You know what I mean? Like, let's see who ass is the blackest. These is vets and all-time greats, right? Rob Bass is not considered that. But in the time and era where people was nice and didn't sound the same, he had those two songs. You know what I'm saying? And niggas would definitely get up and, you know what I mean? It takes two to make a thing go right. Do all your little dances and shit. So salute to him. Rest in peace, right? Condolences to his family. And may the Most High have mercy on him and you and me when it's our time to go, right? Do you ever think about when you out of here? Your record deal, video, out of here. Your Mercedes Benz and your Range Rover, all that shit, out of here. The Most High says, get over here. And then he snatches your soul. Shansu, take your soul. And then you're going to have to like looking around like, how did I get here and how did I get back in this body? For those that think this is it. Nah, this ain't it. What happens on earth stays on earth for the people on earth because we don't know what happened. But when your ass wake up, you definitely going to be revealed on what you was, what you wasn't, and how you was living, right? As I said, it was going to be a heavy theme, hip hop. So let's get right to it. The trending topics, right? We got Max B, Wavy Man, right? Max B, aka Big Avail, right? And if you watch Pop of his TV, I appreciate you. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, right? Because we live, we rolling, we unscripted, we authentic. That feeling back up in here one more again. I told y'all I know Max, aka Charlie Rock, Charlie Rambo, you know, his mom's his brother, rest in peace, and all that. And niggas from the block, like he's one of us, right? Made it to, made it in the game, went through a lot of trials and tribulations. We covered this already, but I'm only bringing that up to say since he been home, I seen him maybe like 2 times, but only got he did the giveaway, he did that, and I said maybe like 4 times, but only really got to speak to him twice. The first time it was too many niggas around. It was like, what's up? I was actually working. You know, I'm a cure violence worker. So I'm outside. Even before doing this type of work, I was outside. But then the second time I seen him, which was this Friday now, I think I seen him last Saturday, right? So it'll be a week. Seen him on the block, my block, 142nd. You know what I mean? Out there with everybody. Shout outs to everybody that was out there. Basically just chopping it up, chilling. And it wasn't that many people around as before. He still had, his security and shit. So I'm like, Max, we got to smoke. And I finally got his number. Definitely said he gonna come on pop up his TV. We gonna hold him to that. You know what I mean? After this segment here, I don't know if he gonna fuck with me or not. Now I was thinking about calling him up even right now. And let's see if he answers and do the show. But I wouldn't do that because I would want to, forewarn him and obviously not prep because my show was live uncut, we unscripted. But just to say we're gonna do it at this time and woo woo woo. I might got the industry number, but he did, he did text back, got his shit, he pulled his phone out. But anyway, I said all that to say, like, I know Max, right? And although it's been a long gap in between because of his bid, you know what I mean? My bid, in fact, when I was in '04 coming in, he about to go in, you know what I mean? Or whatever the case be. I remember seeing him at court, you know what I mean? And me going down and all that type of shit. But a long gap in between. But what didn't change is, for people that don't know him, he's still the same. I mean, he ain't let prison, dim his light, his charisma, his personality, his flamboyantness, you know what I mean, and his style, you know what I mean? Obviously, you could put it in the bottom and you could probably sell it. Harlem niggas gonna find a way to make it look fly, to make it look, you know what I mean, like something else. And, whether you rock with it or not, what's the word? Happy Friday. A lot of people like they style from us. You know what I mean? Like you see, I got the WhaT here. If you live on YouTube, you can see, you know what I mean, the W right there. If you're on Instagram, you can't see it, but basically one of my favorite skits. I don't know where the purple tape is at. Oh, purple tape right here. You know what I mean? Purple tape is right here. We're gonna grab that bad boy right there. Right next to the Cheetos. You know what I mean? The purple tape. Like niggas be biting mad styles. Like niggas hear you say one word and here they come. They want to say the word and flip it and bounce it and get to shine before you get a chance to shine on your own shit. Yeah, whether you believe it or not, Harlem is the mecca for a lot of things. I mean, rest in peace, Malcolm X. You know, I know he Detroit bred and all that, but rest in peace, Malcolm X. You know what I mean? Harlem, stand up. And we are the originators of a lot of things, especially style, right? I'm going to just leave it at that. That's the purple tape skit. Niggas be biting mag styles. So I said all that to say, Max is who he is. And if you just join us on Instagram or YouTube, we talking about Max being Big Daddy Kane, right? Because Max was on $1 million worth of game, right? I mean, with Gilly and Wallow. Shout outs to them, right? Philly boys. And he had French and Max up there. And I didn't watch the whole interview. You know what I mean? I just didn't have time. Heard it got a lot of clips in there that's being chopped up, and it's been spinning in the clip, as I like to say, for a few days now, right? Maybe like 4 or 5 days. You know what I mean? I did my show on Monday. I went live Monday, and we live again today. Definitely going to get back to being more frequent. You know what I mean? And putting belt to ass. You know what I mean? Not playing. You know what I'm saying? They said I was doing it wrong, so we're gonna adjust and we're gonna do it right, right? And anyway, from the clips that I did see, right? Max basically, I guess they was talking about the top 100 in hip hop, and I think French, he said, Big Daddy Kane not even in the top 100, right? And which I think is crazy, you know what I mean? But I might can understand why, but maybe not, right? You know what I mean? Depending on what metrics you're using. Um, and then somehow it got to Max saying after Big Nas and Jay Z, like Biggie, Jay Z, and Nas, like who's the best MCs? Biggie, Jay Z, and Nas, right? Max like you could fit me right in right after any one of them three, and ooh, I definitely disagree. And even though Max is my man, I'm not a yes man. So I always say, like, when people don't be acting flaky for the interviews, because I'm not a guy that will just sit up here, let you say anything and don't pressure about it or rebuttal it like, where they do that at? Like, nah, I gotta disagree with you. I'm not gonna still sit there and be like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like, cause if you don't vote for me and you're not black, what? I would have sat there with Joe Black like, nigga, what? Catching bullets with his teeth? Nigga, please. I'd have been proud. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, nigga? You know what I mean? You have to censor me out. Y'all know I got a curse now. Like, Joe Biden, what the fuck is you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, press people on the bullshit that they're saying. Um, so I definitely disagree. Definitely not behind them. Not at all, right? And the conversation goes on, and somehow it got to where he fits at, and to play devil's advocate, what was he supposed to say? As far as to the Kane, I know I jumped from after Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas, who's the best MCs? He like, you can fit Big Rail anywhere in there, and I disagree, Max. There's a lot of other people that's behind Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas, and we'll say hip hop show. Let's just name a few from New York, right? Jada, Styles, uh, Black Daughters from fucking Philly, my bad. Fab. I seen another clip. I didn't watch it. I didn't see, but I heard. I was on the phone with one of my mans, and we was talking about it briefly. And he had Zip the Drip. Queens brother, if I'm not mistaken. He from Queens. He from Brooklyn. I think he from Queens. But he was going off on Max like, you ain't even top 5 in Harlem, right? And he named definitely heard him mention Cam, Jewels, um, Mason Beta, and Cam and Jazz, and we're gonna rise to the top. He mentioned Vado, Big L. So it's, a lot of people was taking a lot of, you know, um, you know, a lot of people ain't taking this kindly from Max B, right? For saying that he one was behind Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas. People say he not even top 5 in Harlem, right? And I'll get to that, right? Because he home now, so he's back making music. Because this is how I view, just for sake of context, so we can contextualize how I view MCs and your place and where you belong at. If you belong in the top 5, top 10, top 15, etc. Busta's another one, right? Ain't better than Busta. Definitely ain't got more hits than Busta, right? And it's mad other people. Nas, you know what I mean? Well, Nas is in top 3. My bad, brain fog. But I view it on how many classic albums you got. That's number one. Longevity, lyrical ability, classic albums. How many you got? You got 1. You got 2. If it's no classic albums, how many hit records you got? Or Rob Bass got 2, right? So I base it off that. Is it by yourself? Is it somebody on the hook? And then longevity, not of relevancy. That's very important as we continue this talk about Max B and did he disrespect Big Daddy Kane? Because you got Fat Joe said something. You got Mike Son, 2 Bronx niggas, right? Saying, having, and they hip hop, Fat Joe, I was about to say royalty, but Fat Joe, obviously, he's a pioneer of the game in the sense that he's been around forever. So I'll put respect on his name in that sense. He ain't in nobody top 5 list, but still been around forever. So I'll put respect on Fat Joe's name in that sense. But who else? So that's a lot of people, right? Is having something to say. And there's 2 different conversations that took place during that interview. One is he put himself behind Jay-Z, Biggie, and Nas. Then when they got to who was in the top 100 MCs, and the guy said he was like, Rakim, I respect the God, and he's a God MC. And he was like, I fuck with Kane. So people, and then like he shitted on Kane. He like, yeah, I fucks with Kane. And I forget what else was said, but then it was like Wallow was like, well, Kane is, what do you consider like a run? Because French Montana was trying to, add some level of intelligence without playing with the conversation. He was putting some respect on it, I should say. And he was like, well, some people have 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, etc. You know what I mean? Miss So Blessed, what's the word? Like it's like in that sense, right? And then somehow it got to what the fuck is Kane doing? Kane ain't relevant. And then Wallow was like, nah, well, Kane been on, he came out in the late '80s and had a run all the way up to now. And then that's when the conversation kind of went left and people was like the disrespect. But I don't think it was disrespect, right? Um, Basically he's like, so, what have he done for me lately, right? Meaning like, where's the music now, right? And I gotta agree. Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? Dun, 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 dun. Ooh, you're like, what have you done for me lately? Not what have you done in the past. What have you done for me lately? And then Wallow trying to come back like, well, basically, and then also Gilly was like, well, if you got a hit, you could basically have a hit you can perform that song throughout your whole career. And I agree with that because Big Daddy Kane got a lot of hits, right? Um, and then it went to he's still performing. And Max B was like, well, overseas and, maybe he, do a 1 or 2 shows here. So this is where the conversation gets a little spicy. And I agree with Matt. I don't think it was disrespect. I think the internet just be fake outrage and selective hearing because, you know, being nice lyrically, which Max did, he pulled the Uncle Murder. He basically was like, well, I know I ain't got shit on Nas, and basically I know I ain't got shit on Nas, right? Like, I'm nice, but I'm not delusional like a Jim Jones, right? Because it's almost like the same comparison. Jim Jones, Max B, my age bracket, age range. So we come up in that era. You know what I mean? Nas is considered one of the GOATs, if not the GOAT for a lot of us. And basically he was, his argument was, one, I'm picking myself over anybody, which he's supposed to. Or you could go to Uncle Murder route that, yeah, I know I ain't got shit on Nas. But basically it's either to be completely honest and say your MC game ain't that official, or to say, niggas can't fuck with me. I'm choosing me. So we not mad at Jim Jones for that. But what he was trying to spin the argument as, and I think the young brother, I don't even think it was him, it was a young brother from another podcast that was like, basically, Jim Jones is more relevant than Nas. And people like me was like, young bud, you're bugging. But I do understand, it's like, this is, you can't dismiss the youth. As much as we want to sit on our high horse and look down on them, it's like, talk to me when you get 12 and 0. Come see me when you made the playoffs and you're undefeated, like the dude from the Miami Dolphins who went 14 and 0. And you're like, don't Tom Brady talk to me. And then when they made it to the Super Bowl and then they lost to my New York Giants, you know what I'm saying? We don't want to be like the old niggas like that and work and cure violence. When I work with high risk kids and shit, and we try to reach them in the space that they at, you don't want to dismiss somebody that's young just because you lived a certain amount of years. Now, obviously, your perspective, your upbringing, the shit you've been through, you're gonna have more. You should have more up here. You living off experience like the locks. LOL, you living off experience, so you should be more vast in that regard. But you shouldn't just dismiss them like they don't bring nothing to the table. I'm saying that to say the young brother on whatever podcast that he was, and I'm mixing 2 different topics, but the same theme is the same. And he was like, well, the young niggas resonate more with Jim Jones, even though he's almost in Nas' age bracket too. But Nas is not relevant to us. We ain't even driving around listening to Nas. We listening to Jim Jones, and he quoted the fashion and all that. So back to the Max B and Big Daddy Kane, right? Big Daddy Kane is a pioneer. He's one of the lyrical pieces of hip hop. He paved the way for a lot of people, and he been putting on for hip hop since he came out with Ain't No Half Stepping, etc. Right? I quote Big Daddy Kane on this channel all the time. In fact, and I'll get to that later. Then I quote Big Daddy Kane a lot. I quote a lot of hip hop a lot, but a lot of that golden era. That's how I build my channel around giving quotes, and that's why I just go off on a different train thought like that on this channel because that's just how it comes. That's how I express myself, right? I'm a baby of hip hop. Grew up in hip hop, but what Max is saying is basically, like, all right, we get that he's touring, and he like, I know I can't fuck with him lyrically, but he like anything else, songwriting ability, swag, and the mixtapes, and my influence, etc. I think I'm more relevant. And right now he is. He is. And that's a video of I'll say that I'm gonna play. I want to at least show this video. I guess Gillian Wallow was getting some a lot of feedback as well that they didn't like. So it forced them to do this.
And foremost, right, I want to say shout out to Max B for getting Kane popping again. For getting all the old niggas that's talking about Kane talking about him again, because you niggas wasn't talking about none of the legends 2 weeks ago, last week, a month ago. Y'all wasn't bringing a nigga up at all. He was just running around doing his shows, performing, getting his money. Y'all niggas was waiting on a nigga to die so y'all could show up to his funeral, nigga. Shout out to Max B for bringing Kane up, and now everybody's giving Kane his flowers, which is well deserved, Kane. You're a motherfucking legend. But the reality of it is all these niggas that's trying to get some clicks and some likes, they're supposed to love Kane. Why y'all wasn't talking about that nigga last week, 2 weeks ago, a month ago? There's a whole bunch of other legends the fuck out here. Y'all niggas don't never bring up. Y'all niggas waiting for them niggas to die so y'all can show up to their fucking funeral. Why y'all niggas don't bring them niggas up? Because the last time I checked, the only nigga they're talking about motherfucking legends is Wallow. He the only nigga hold them niggas down on a regular, nigga.
Now, I gotta agree. Now, you may go on the Drink Champs. Nas got a platform where he definitely highlighting the legends. You know what I mean? But we mean just overall on social media. I know that's what you mean because we had Mano jump in the comments like I talk about, Big Daddy Kane. People called the cat like nigga. We follow your channel. You ain't talking about Big Daddy Kane. And even your other show with Tamika Mallory, you're not talking about Big Daddy Kane. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he inspired me, he influenced me, he the reason why I'm rapping. But you're not talking about him because he's not relevant. It's not saying he's not nice. It's not saying he's not a legend. It's not saying that he didn't pave the way for a lot of MCs and, they patent their style after him. The Granddaddy IUs, the Big Daddy Kanes. You know what I'm saying? And the list goes on and on and on. With having swag, lyrical ability and all that. But this is something else that Max B said, because also, like him, I was a kid listening to Ain't No Half Stepping and Warming Up Kane and all of the great songs. I'm going to give it to you. Let's take a few minutes to mellow out. Big Daddy Kane is on the mic, and I'm going to tell about a minimum length, rhymes, strength, and power. So listen to the man of the hour. Flow and go to a slow tempo, and like, this shit is easy for me. Like, we do this all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Put a quarter in your ass because you played yourself. I reign superior, always taking care of you. No frill rappers, you better evaporate, disintegrate, and disgrade. Like, come on. Raining, Kanan, Symphony. He had one of the best verses on the Symphony with legends like Coogee Rap, etc. on it, right? Shout outs to the Juice Crew. And Big Daddy Kane wrote motherfucking The Vapors for Bismarck, which we always quote on this joint. Radio, TVs, and even the press say what's the meaning of VAPORS. The meaning of these words, without no doubt, means nobody want to be down when you're down and out. Now, when you establish you got a lot of money, everybody want to be your buddy and honey. Like tall buildings they call skyscrapers. Can you feel it? Nothing can save you. But this is the season. I'm catching the vapor. This is easy for me. I can make a whole fucking 10 shows about rapping and quoting lyrics, right? Because I'm from that era, but not only from that era, I embrace hip hop. I love hip hop. That's why I put that as had to put that into my show. Some people are like, nah, you're doing sports, you're doing hip hop, you're doing too much. I'm like, I'm going to do what I want to do because my show was unscripted and we authentic over here. That feeling. But I remember when Big Daddy Kane came out with his second album, right? The Prince of Darkness. And that's when shit took left. And Max B, maybe this is where the disrespect, where some people was like, he's talking about Kane had the thong on and, he had his nipples out. Max B, for those that don't know, he's being funny. He's a funny, flamboyant, say what the fuck he type on. He's a funny guy. When we was walking, we marched the streets and shit. We canvassed the streets. But he was like, where y'all niggas, the Guardian Angels and all that. Like, funny stuff. I haven't seen them in years. So this is the first couple of, been a long gap, right? Even though I wrote them twice and the letters came back, you know what I'm saying? Still got the letters, you know what I mean? But haven't seen them, so we haven't had no discussion. And like it wasn't nothing. Like, nigga, who y'all leave? What's up? Who these niggas? Who y'all niggas supposed to be? The Guardian Angels? Because we got the same shirts on, so we look unified, etc. But that's who he is. So although Kane didn't have a thong on, he just was being funny, guys. Niggas take shit to the heart so much, and that's why we quote Kanye West like, "Ooh, they so sensitive. Don't ever fix your lips like Stylogen to say something when you're gonna end up apologizing." Let me know if it's a problem then. All right, man, holler then. La, 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 la. The niggas is too sensitive because he wasn't trying to be disrespectful. But what he was right and exact about is that when Kane did that, a lot of his fans, like me, like Max, and like people that come from that era was like, damn, we knew you was this type of nigga. Now you trying to pivot to some, ladies type of man. And I get it. LL did it. Let's pull up Big Daddy. Let's go to Big Daddy Kane's let's go to his track record. All right? Let's go to his track record. We looked up Rob Bass. Let's look up Big Daddy Kane. Let's view his albums. Long Live the Kane. Raw. Set It Off. Ain't No Half Stepping. I'll Take You There. Mr. C Master Plan. Word to My Mother, right? 10 albums, 10 song album. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Album was super fire. Like a 7, strong 7 that I like, right? The other 3, but it's still solid album from a lyrical guy, right? Then, second album, Big Daddy Thing, Another Victory, Young Black and Gifted, Smooth Operator. That was the best song on there. You know what I mean? Overdue. I'm gonna give it to you, give it to you, give it to you. You know what I mean? The Wrath of Cain, I Get the Job Done. Pimpin' Ain't Easy. We quote that a lot, right? So I don't want to hear nobody talking about me because I quote that a lot when it comes to you simp ass niggas. I just reverse it like a circle. Big Daddy Kane saying, anything goes when it comes to hoes because pimpin' ain't easy. Pimpin' ain't easy. And then I reversed it and flipped it. And instead of saying anything goes when it comes to hoes because pimpin' ain't easy, what do? I say anything goes when it comes to hoes because sippin' ain't easy. Now, sipping ain't easy. Like, these niggas is sipping. So we quote Big Daddy Kane all the time on this channel. On the Move, Warming Up Kane. 17 songs. Not really a great album. 17 songs, not 17 hits. More like 10 hits. Or 10 good songs. 11 good songs. I mean, 6 is trash. Or 6 was like, I'm going to fast forward. And we know that a classic, no matter what era you in, no matter if you're a pioneer rat, no matter if you lyrical, smirical, and all that shit, a classic album we all can agree on, at least we should agree on. There's no skips. There's not one whack song on the album. So this ain't a classic. And neither was the first one. Then you got Taste the Chocolate. It's Hard Being Kane. Who Am I? Dance with the Devil. No Damn Good. All of Me. That's the Barry White. For those that don't know. Put Your Weight on It. Big Daddy Kane vs. Dynamite. That's one of my favorite songs on this album. Taste the Chocolate, Exit Down the Line. I think that's what Jay-Z and
Okay.
and Busta, right? No, I think that was Come On Down, Come On Down, Come On Down, Come On Down. But here I come. No, that's not it. Album is alright. Album was alright. So Max B is absolutely right when you say that the last album, in addition to Taste the Chocolate now I'm gonna pivot, from being a raw lyricist MC, I'm gonna market myself as the Playboy man now. And as a kid, as a fan, and not understanding that hip hop is a business, because this is still the golden era. These is niggas is popping up. Hip hop is new. So when you start marketing, yourself as that, I'm gonna say I was gonna say we, but I can't be everybody, so I can say me. I didn't understand, and apparently Max B didn't agree with it, and I'm sure it's a lot of other people that was looking like, this ain't what we really was expected from Kane. You know what I mean? We like you this way, and now you want some, vampire, sexy chocolate, dark chocolate, and I'm the Playboy man, and that didn't work for you. It worked for LL. It didn't work for you. So it's like, you lose interest now. And although you come with the symphony, and you may still spit some bars or whatever here and there on the feature, or you may write for Biz, career kind of went off. After that, what year this came out? 1990. 94, looks like a job. How can I get a record deal? Chocolate City, the beef is on. Stop slamming. Stop shaming. I meant to say, brother man. I like that song. Rest in peace. I like that song. Here comes Kane, scoop and scrap. Niggas never learn. I fucks with that. Enough respect. The remix. I fuck with that. Another 14 album song. Another 14 song album that wasn't a classic. It was not a classic. It was alright. And it ain't been no classic since. So it's not a disrespect to point out the obvious. Two things can be true at the same time. Big Daddy Kane can still be having motion, going overseas, even performing in Brooklyn or the Beacon or whatever, doing the old school reunion. He's still on tour. He's still getting his bag. But is my son listening to Big Daddy Kane? Do he even know who he is? He probably know who he is now, because when you go online, even if he don't know who Max B is, you keep seeing this story trending, so you may take a listen. But 20-year-old, if niggas are saying they don't know who Nas is, and Nas is way more influential and relevant than Big Daddy Kane to me, and they saying that Jim Jones was more relevant than him, then you know they don't know who Big Daddy Kane is. They don't know who Rakim is. We're not living in that era of music no more. When albums came out, we went to the record store. We went to 125th. We brought the album. We brought the tape. We listened to the tape. We read every song. We read the credits. This is what we used to do. This is what I used to do. Read the credits. Look at the album cover. Look at the artwork. Listen to every single song. Listen to the beat. Listen to the sample. You know what I mean? Compare it to other albums. We consume hip hop because it was a new thing. It's not new no more. Hip hop is older than me, so it's not held in that same regard or esteem no more. But I didn't take it as he was disrespecting. And then lastly, he came like he showed the picture, but it wasn't a thong. He was doing Playboy. Some other person said, yeah, he popped Madonna. All right, who didn't? Dennis Rodman and everybody else that she was on their body. You know what I mean? She was a pass around. Yes, she's Madonna. She was the material girl. But this is what somebody was labeling like, yo, he was an icon because he popped Madonna. He just popped another, you know what I mean? Bop. Pretty much. She was an old school bop back then. She was a young old school one. You know what I mean? Now she's an old school bop. But bop then, back to bop now, same difference, just different. She ain't nothing special. She was Madonna. Yes, a great singer. She a pop icon and all that. But she was on the black athletes' dicks. You know what I mean? The black rappers' dicks. And she got what she wanted. BBC. But this is people arguing, Kane pop Madonna. Okay, and ain't no trophy. All right, and I mean, it's like Amber Rose. A lot of niggas popped her, right? Or it was Megan Thee Stallion. She a big artist, but the list accordingly or allegedly, not accordingly, allegedly, is very long. So it was all right. This was another nigga in line. It wasn't nothing special about it. I probably couldn't get it. But who cares? Who are you, Sweet Pea? What cell is that, Sweet Pea? Who cares? But the relevancy, the young era don't know who he is. And back to before we get off this topic, because we talked about it for a little minute, but it is the trending topic, and I had to get my thoughts out about it. Gilly is right. If it ain't an old school throwback Thursday, or it ain't a show going on where somebody's promoting, or it ain't coming to the Breakfast Club, or the Drink Champs, or Joe Buttons, the regular average person is not online talking about Big Daddy Kane. They're not talking about Rakim. They're not talking about Karis One. They're not talking about Ice Cube. They're not talking about Slick Rick. They're not talking about DMX is not even talked about like that unless somebody is unless a viral clip or something of him is spinning or now they're talking about the death again, the overdose or Diddy overdose or Swiss Beats stole from him. Then those other surrounding topics may draw the person in. Who was better, Tupac or DMX, like in that vein. But regular, average, casual people, you're not talking about Big Daddy Kane and my son, Fat Joe. You're not talking about Big Daddy Kane. You're not. You're not. And that's not to say that you don't have old school guests come on your show, because this is your business now. So you have to mind the business that pays you. So yeah, who could we get? Let's get Slick Rick up here. Let's get, so in that sense, you're paying homage. You doing your due diligence. So you shedding light on them. But we talking about just an everyday conversation, and the way that we swipe our thumbs up and down. You're not talking about these people. You're not. You're not. You can lie and cat, but you're lying, and I know you're lying. You know what I mean? So there's that. We got some other trending topic. What else we got? I told you it's gonna be heavy theme hip hop today, right? What else we got? We got Drake album or Drake albums, right? We in the end game because Iceman, hey Drake, he dropped 3 albums, and although I think it's a couple of days ago, I still haven't gotten to a second album yet. So this will be like a slight preview or just some of my initial thoughts on the album Iceman. That's the one that I did hear fully, right? So I think he got the Habibi and the Bridesmaid or Honorable Bride or some shit like that. Iceman is a good album to me. Is it a classic? No. Is it a worthy album to give a listen to? Yes. I know Rick Ross was like, it was horrid. He said his niggas had trauma over and all that. They beefing and going to war and all that. Dumb shit. But let's go to Ice. Let's go to Drake real quick. Let's go to his album. Iceman. Make him cry, fire. Shebang, fire. Make him pay, fire. What did I miss? Plot twist. Make them remember. Make them know. So 18 songs, and I like one. I'm talking about the songs I really like. Too hard for the radio. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that I like. And it's not 18 songs is a lot, guys. Let's be clear. Let's keep it a buck. 18 songs. That's 2 albums for most people. Let's think about Nas' first album, right? And we talking hip hop this whole show so far. That's been the topics, right? I didn't design it like that. But Nas' first album, with Nas, so let's quote Nas, right? He said, my first album had no famous guest appearances. The outcome, I'm crowned the best lyricist. Many years on this professional level. Why would you question who's better, The World of Steel Minds? And basically, his first album had 10 songs, but 2 of them were skits. The intro, let's go to Nas real quick, and I'll come back to Drake. Should know this by heart, and I do, but albums, Illmatic. 10 songs, and really 10 credited songs, but intro was The intro, the genius, where stop fucking around and be a man, right? No skips though, not one skip. Classic album. And when he said no famous guest appearances, AZ wasn't even known. And if you know the story, he didn't even think he was going to be on the album. He did the verse or whatever, you know what I mean? And Nas ended up keeping it for the album. But I say that to say Nas' second album, right? Another intro. 16 songs. No, 17. If you put Street Dream, because he put the Street Dream with the third verse. So 15 songs. Classic album. Back to back to me. And some say second album is better than the first album. But I say that to say that back to Drake now. 18 songs is a lot, bro. 18 songs is a lot for us to be trying to digest. So it's not a classic, but is it a bad album? No. And the reason why it ain't a classic, one, I don't like all the songs, but two, because Drake got a lot of albums, he got a lot of songs that sound similar, the same beats, the same cadence. Even though I think he's a dope, artist. You know what I mean? I am a Drake fan, and at one point in time, when he first came out, I didn't recognize or understand all of the hype. Like, who is this nigga? You know what I mean? Light skinned nigga singing all the time, and funny face ass nigga, right? You know what I mean? Then found out that he was actually an actor first and all that. You learn more about the artist and shit. I just like, you know what I mean? He rose quickly, you know what I mean? Obviously under the tutelage of Lil Wayne, etc. But anyway, he got mega hits, and nobody don't really want to do a versus with him. And that's even the big wigs like Jada, Nas, Hove, Buster, Lil Wayne, LL. Anybody you can think of, Kanye. Those just like my faves. 50 Cent, people that got hits after hits after hits after hits after hits. It's going to be a hard battle to go against him, whether you think he's singing or not. And that's why he got shit like you getting bodied by a singing nigga. Like, you know what I mean? I can sing, but I can spit. As far as niggas writing for you or not, Styles, you don't want to go in no verses with a Drake because he gonna have too many hit songs and you're gonna have a few. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. But still a good album. A lot of people saying, obviously he addressing old shit and he's still worried about Kendrick and Kendrick is on the brain, living rent free and all that. I think it was a genius move in the sense of a way to outmaneuver the labels. Allegedly, maybe kind of sort of, he had 3 albums still left on his deal, and we know he sued Universal and all that, and so now it's like, yeah, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna release these albums, which scale 1 to 10, for like I said, Iceman, 18 songs. I'm gonna give it like a 7, 6.5. You know what I mean? And I only listened to it once, so let's keep that in mind as well. I'm gonna have to go back and listen. You know what I mean? And I just ain't got time for all that. You know what I mean? Not yet. You know what I'm saying? But maybe I'll hear it again and be like, oh nah, this is, you know what I mean? But keep it a buck. I think I only listened to J. Cole's album 2 times, maybe 3, or just like certain songs I went back to. And it all goes back to we don't consume music the same way we used to. And I mean, even people from the old school, like myself, that we consumed it a different way. And so, now everything is just rapid microwave, popcorn wave now. And I mean, you hear shit, you're going to listen to it. And then that's it. You're going to take the songs that you like, add it to your playlists. And that's how we listen to music now. That's why one song may spin in a clip for some of us, but we all listen to the 1, 2, 3 songs from your album, and so that helps your album. But we're not actually listening to your whole album unless it really is a classic. Same thing with Raekwon and the Mobb Deep album that came out. I got the songs that I like in the playlist now, so it's just new playlists with some of your favorite artists, but not the whole album. You go listen. I still have the discipline to listen to a whole album and see if I like it, what I rock with, what I don't. But after that, if it ain't a classic album or it don't hit like that, then I just grab the songs that I like and now we go like that. Because we're not buying albums. We're paying for streaming services. You know what I'm saying? And we're streaming online, so you may listen to it online, or you scroll and you listen to it, you like the post, and then you keep leaving. You ain't going offline. Let me go to Apple Music and download the whole album or listen to the whole album. I still ain't even listened to the Kanye album yet. And two of my coworkers said the album is fire, and I still ain't listened yet. And I listen to Drake because the hype around Drake with the big blocks of ice and Times Square, and a lot of marketing and promotion into the album, right? So it was like, all right, let me listen. And I thought it was just that album, and then come to find out it's fucking two more albums. So I'm like, you know what I mean? But again, genius to get out of your deal. But lastly, besides Papoose, right? And he ain't nobody top five. No shade on him, but let's keep it a buck. He ain't nobody top five, right? He nice lyrically and he got lyrical ability, but you ain't nobody top five. You know what I mean? He dropped the album every month. So that's another feat that probably won't be done, right? But then you got DMX, who dropped two albums in the same year in a 6 month period. You got people who put out double albums like Pac and Went Diamond, you know what I mean? And you got Biggie, right? Post, what do you say, post-mortem album? I forget, post-humor, I forget how you say it. Then I got my GED, right? And then he Went Diamond, you know what I mean? The Life After Death album. But you don't have people that put out 3 albums at one time. Not to say that they can't do it, and you can say, yeah, they're all mid albums, and that's fine if that's how you feel. But still haven't done that. So that's like a LeBron James moment in the sense of, when you in the game for so long, LeBron, you're gonna have all the records, all of the assists, all of the playoff minutes, all of the playoff games and wins and all that shit. Like you're gonna get all of the accolades because you've been around for 21 years, right? Especially if he come back next season, which he will, I think. But Drake can add that to the belt. Like I got out of my deal. I'm a free agent now. I could go anywhere. I could do it my way now. And I can say that I did what nobody else did. I dropped 3 albums, not a double disc. Put out 3 completely separate albums. And like I said, DMX put out Hell is Dark and Hell is Hot. And then 6 months later, platinum again, 3 or 4 times over with Flesh of My Flesh and Blood of My Blood. Like, and nobody's doing that. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody doing that. You know what I'm saying? So that's something to add to the belt. I will come back with a more, you know, better opinion, if you will, when I listen to the other albums and I give, Iceman, because only one time listen, and 18 was a lot. I ain't gonna lie. And with that said, we out of here. I guess other trending topics. Oh, no, I'll get to 2 more topics. 2 more real quick. One is some new Hennessy flavor, going around. I don't know the flavors, but I was asking one of my younger coworkers, like, give me something, that I could talk about tonight because I really ain't studied. And he showed me that. Um, Talked about Adrian Broner touching that girl and shit. He always doing some dumb shit, right? Um, and there's a couple other topics, but that I'll just say that black folks, you know what I mean? Black culture don't know me, won't let it control me. Growing up, my biggest fear that black culture disown me, but not now to owe me. Black culture is phony. Black culture don't know me, but black culture do owe me, right? We always gonna find some the bottom of the barrel fuck shit to champion and push up. And that's all I got for that topic. That's there's not enough to be on Hennessy and the Don Julio and all this cheap liquor and shit that they give us to fuck ourselves up coming from somebody that used to drink on a regular basis. I mean, not like a murder mook, I don't think. You know what I mean? But for some people that know me, maybe they'll say, nah, Lee used to be mad wavy. You know what I'm saying? But I'm off that. So to see that, like the Ciroc and like the other flavors, Grey Goose, we just gonna keep adding the flavors and keep you niggas locked in and hooked in to get more people to fuck with it. And speaking of Hennessy and the new flavors, and I ain't gonna put you on blast, but I just speaking about my track Styles and Triple H with Drake and my nigga Blackface. And I mean, I know Will definitely had some shots and some bottles in the club, and a lot of that was Hennessy, right? So to see that it's a new, new flavors out, and everybody is buying them up to resell them, and like they some new exclusive retro Jordans or whatever. It's like, really, black people? I mean, that's why I called it Black Culture. Don't know me, won't let it control me. Growing up, my biggest fear is that black culture disown me, but not now that stuff own me. Black culture is phony, and so that's my take on that. The last topic, and this will be real brief too, as we'll get out of here with playoffs. Don't talk to me about playoffs. I just hope that we can win a game and then another game. Um, so we hit 6 in a row. Um, we hit 6 in a row. Plays of the day, going back to game 6 of the Detroit Pistons and the Cleveland Cavaliers series. We had the Pistons in game 6. We had the Cavs in game 7. We had Spurs in game 1, Knicks in game 1, Oklahoma City in game 2, Knicks in game 2, and Oklahoma tonight. I mean, that's actually might be more. So we had Oklahoma tonight, Knicks game 2, Knicks game 1, missing the game. Yeah, that's why I don't have it here. I had 7 in a row. A lot of y'all. Yeah, we hit Detroit game 6. Clearly, I'm looking at my records. I don't got a cap or bullshit around. I got all records. I do a whole NBA show, NBA pick and pop every single day, and we've been on fire, and niggas ain't viewing, but that's your fault. You ain't winning no money, that's on you. But anyway, we had the Pistons, game 6. Then we had Cleveland in game 7, that's 2. Then we had the Spurs game 1. Then we had the Knicks game 1. Then we had OKC game 2. Then we had the Knicks game 2. And then we had OKC game 3. 7 in a row. 7 in a row, straight days. Damn, and the audio ain't right. You may have to fix that. 7 straight days, you know what I mean? Of hitting you with the power plays to get that money. You know what I mean? The locks. Not from Yonkers, but the locks to get you and me the winner chicken dinners. And we gotta find out why that audio don't be working, but we gonna close out. That's all I wanted. Tomorrow the Knicks play game 3. I'll be doing my NBA show tomorrow, God willing, we alive. But y'all know what it is. It's your guy, Popovich. Y'all was just tuned in. And y'all, I was about to say NBA pick and pop. Y'all was just tuned in, Popovich TV. We live, we rolling, we unscripted, we authentic. That feeling back up in here. One more again. Yeah, kid. Y'all be safe out there for the weekend. Memorial Day weekend, the official kickoff of summer. I know niggas get crazy. There's a lot of videos out there. Niggas having knife fights, niggas having gun fights and all that. Keep your head on the swivel. Be respectful. Be mindful. Be courteous. Or fuck around and be out of here. Stay safe. 1.